You got a toothbrush? We're going to London. Do you hear that, Doug? I'm coming to London.
That's right, I'm coming to London and checking out Krypton Komics. Hi everyone and welcome to Still Only 35 Cents, your regular dose of vintage comics and collectibles. I'm coming to London and checking out Krypton Komics, arguably one of London's oldest vintage comic book stores. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell for future videos just like this one. Krypton Komics is one of the last genuine old school vintage comic shops in London, primarily dealing in back issues, following the recent takeover of Camden's Mega City Comics by Forbidden Planet last year. The provenance of Krypton Komics is impressive, boasting a history that dates back to 1986 as a physical shop, but even earlier as a second-hand book market store at Walthamstow Market way back in 1960. The owner, Gary Ochiltree, took over the stall in 1986, pivoting its focus to include new and imported American comics. He opened his first physical store in 1986 in Wood Green. Throughout the years, it moved a couple of times, Edmonton Green in 1990 and Tottenham in 1991, where the store stayed for 15 years. In 2006, Gary and Krypton Komics moved to its current address at 94 Black Horse Lane, Walthamstow, right back where the store had its original humble market store beginnings. I recently spent the morning at this great store whilst visiting London, so let's take a step inside and take a look at this great comic book store. Hi everyone, I'm here with Gary, owner of Krypton Komics. It's been an absolute pleasure digging around the store, sir. Would you be able to give me a bit of history in terms of the store? I seem to think it's the longest comic book or oldest comic book store in London.
I suppose it depends when you start from counting. I started working on a bookstall in Walthamstow Market in 1977, and the bookstall itself had been there since 1960. He had a box full of old back issue comics, which were 3p each. They were in the days when they were cheaper then, cheaper second hand than new. And eventually, the guy whose stall it was called Charlie, retired, and I took over.
Yeah.
So Essentially, it's a direct continuation from then. So the roots go right the way back to 1960, which is before I was even born. So a direct continuation. I've still got my first Saturday job. So were you buying these?
Yep. Shuffle across. And so tell me about the store. It opens only on 3 days a week.
Yeah, it's kind of an optical illusion these days that it's a shop, because essentially I do lots and lots of mail order.
Yep.
On the website I've got 250,000 items, and people order them from all over the place. When COVID came along, I was forced to close and just carry on with the mail order side. And I haven't really gone back. You know,
Yeah.
I'm here on Saturdays and on Thursdays and Fridays from about 10 until about 2:30.
Yeah.
How are you? I'm so pleased to hear from you, mate.
And how do you feel about, obviously there's been a lot of comic shops, particularly the independent vintage ones like this that have closed down. This is the last, probably one of the last few standing.
Right, okay. Well, I certainly feel like last man stand, you know. I mean, I did my first comic mart as a dealer in 1980.
Yeah.
And I did that in an unbroken run up until 2011. So I had 31 years of that. And I've always managed to maintain keeping the shop open. Used to do the shop, mail order and comic marts. And now it's kind of like mainly online sales and, you know, a bit of the shop. I've got no they're just comics. You haven't had the proper comic experience if you had to step over the box and get somewhere.
Thank you. And that's your old sign from out the front of that old shop?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was a great big long string bean of a shop, that was.
Yep.
It
Wow.
was about 8 foot wide, and then it became 6 foot wide, and then it became 14 foot wide.
It's complicated. that's 11 years. But it wasn't just the shop floor that I got a chance to look at. Gary kindly invited me into his back room where all of his comics were stored, including those that are catalogued and some that weren't. Wow, this is the back. This is where most of the inventory's kept, right?
That's where a lot of it's kept.
Jeez. How do you know where everything is?
Well, all the stuff in these boxes is on the database.
Oh, it's all on the database, yeah.
There's random boxfuls of stuff which God knows what's in them.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's have a look, shall we? What's in here? Captain America's. What is this?
I was in a... oh, we got some atlases.
Yeah, there's a few atlases.
Oh,
God knows what's in any of this. I don't know.
Well, look at that. He just pulled out a Secret Wars 8. Do you want to show us that Secret Wars 8 again? That's hilarious. It's just lying there in the box. Just lying there in the box.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's a random box. It's a... you know, let's pick a different box. It's like, I always enjoy this.
That's amazing.
Do this. What have we got here? Could be anything.
And so how would you find that then if someone's... So is that on the website, that one?
That one isn't on the website.
Right, okay. But it's still it's just lying in a box and you haven't gone through and sorted it yet.
Stuff that I haven't sorted out yet.
Wow.
And it could be anything in here. Who knows?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like one of... Yeah, I've got a... I went to a Canadian shop and very similar. He's like had this whole stack downstairs he hadn't even sorted through yet.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
You never know. Where are we? Oh, some incredible Hulks there.
Oh, some Todd McFarlane Hulks in there, I just saw.
There's John Byrne Hulks. Oh yes, Todd McFarlane
There you
Hulks.
go. There's a Todd McFarlane Hulks.
3, 4, 5. Oh, if there's a 3.
Yeah, let me guess.
340's not there.
340's not there.
340's not there. 340's not there.
Still, it doesn't matter. It's
Doesn't
still
matter.
see Todd, buy Todd, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
That's
Okay.
great. I'll just grab a little bit of footage down here. Goes on forever. That's awesome.
That is Secret Wars 1984.
Yep. Issue 8.
Issue 8. Right,
There it
okay. Let me go and get it.
Okay. So you would be grading this at this point and then just checking it against the price list.
Yeah, I'll just look at that. As it's a key issue, I'd probably have a look at the last time I looked at it.
Yep.
So these are all 2023, so first black costume 2023. And look, on that, it's got proportion 1:3:10.
Yep.
Okay, so that means it's 10 times as much in top grade as it is in lower grade.
Yep.
So when I stick it in, and then there's no price variant of it. There's
It's direct, yeah.
it's a direct edition, which I haven't got a scan of. If that's direct, I've got a newsstand copy.
Yep.
But for our purposes, it won't make any difference. So if we said it's about a fine, that'd be about 45 quid.
£45.
Or fine plus would be 60. Yeah, it's quite a big jump between the two.
Yeah.
That
Marvel
one,
Superheroes 17 with Black Knight.
Yeah. Last time that was assessed on the database of 2021, so that's about, that price is about 5 years ago. I don't suppose it would have changed that much. It is a key issue. So if we go down, I mean that's lower grade. Maybe a VG.
Yeah.
Maybe get the sticker off or not. See what comes out. So VG be 50 quid.
50 quid.
Yeah. So,
There you go. £50 Marvel Superheroes there, 17 can be yours.
yes.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? When it's your collection and your books, you want to like that's the thing. The Canadian guy, when I caught up with him, he let me go through, like he basically left me, you're in your back room, he left me in there, he said like, pick out what you need, and then you just priced it as and when I picked it out. Yeah.
If they pull out something that's really expensive,
Yep.
and you then give them a price that's really expensive, it looks like you've made an expensive price up because they're interested.
I mean,
I'd rather say, I want 100 quid for this before they're ready to see it.
Yeah.
And then they look at it and okay, it's like 100 quid. If you make price up after they've expressed interest in it, they don't really know whether they'd like to say so much before.
Yeah, I'm sort of like a bit of a realist, right? Like it's one of those where, like for instance, he had like one of those 3-packs. And he's like, look, they fetch a bit of money. I said, yeah, look, let's. So we just basically price it up together. Like that's the way I always see it. Because at the end of the day, you've got to make money.
That's why you got Marvel Superheroes
Number 8, yeah.
Number 8.
Just sitting there, yeah.
Because I get rid of all this stuff.
I did also notice when I chatted to you earlier, you talked about you're not just a comic book store owner, you're also a comic book artist and writer, right?
Yeah. No one winds up involved in comics unless they love them, because there's much easier ways to earn much more money than selling these things. It's one of those things that looks like it's hugely profitable from the outside. When you go on the inside, you realise it takes 20 years to sell that comic. But I always wanted to draw them. I had several goes at sending stuff to IPC and sending stuff to Marvel and DC, and they were never really interested. So I kind of hit a point where I thought, well, I've got these stories. Maybe I'll do what Alan Moore did with Watchmen, which is take the stories and just change the characters a bit and publish them myself, which is what I did. So.
And one of those books?
Well, I did this one, Tales of the Wonder Kind. That's the latest issue 5. Also, I've recently been involved with Alan Class Comics, who Alan Class was a guy who published comics from 1959 to 1989. And
very UK centric.
They were all black and white reprints of American comics, and essentially the origins of that are with the Board of Trade after the war. He used to, I think he used to import some stuff. I'm not quite sure exactly what, but I know there were limitations on the quantity that you're allowed to bring in. And he hit on this brilliant idea of, if he went to America and got the rights, he could print them, and because they're printed here, then he's not importing the comics. So instead of only being able to import 500 or 1,000, he could print, 5 or 10,000 of the things. And he reprinted all of this classic stuff, which I used to read as a kid myself, in the 50s, 60s, 70s, right the way up to 1989, and then he stopped. Nobody knew who he was, to be honest. But I loved them. I thought they were fabulous. So.
And so, Secrets of the Unknown, that's a new issue.
Yeah, incredible. He published all 2 issues, which went up to 249, which were 2 titles, which were Creepy Worlds and Secrets of the Unknown, which finished at 249. And a good friend of mine called Nick wrote a book about Alan Class. He interviewed him and he wrote a book about him and published it. And I said, ask him, why did he stop at 249, you know? And so he asked him, and he said that was just the number that he got to. And then he was like, well, could we, because Nick's an artist as well, I said, could we see if he would do a 250? And Nick kind of talked him into doing it. And astonishingly, after they finished publishing this in 1989, a comic book which I used to read as a kid, in 2025 there's a new issue 250, and I'm actually in it. I've got 2 strips in it.
Do you want to show me the strip? Because it's actually fascinating to see. It's like reprints of the old issues, but then you've got your story in there as well.
Yeah, so there we go. We got, I mean, that's a reprint of a classic 1950s story, and that's one drawn by me and inked by a good friend of mine, Lee Townsend.
Awesome.
And I had 2 strips in this one.
And these are brand new stories.
Yeah, they're brand new stories written.
But just essentially the last continuation of the old issues.
Yeah, well, these are the only original stories that I'm aware of that have ever been published in an unclassed comic.
Wow.
So this is brand new stuff. That's public domain. It's all public domain now. A lot of the stuff from the 50s. And that's by Jack Kirby.
Excellent stuff.
Excellent, yeah.
And how many issues of Tales of the Wonder Kind are there?
5 so
5
far.
issues.
5,
okay.
yeah. It's an intermittent publication, but each one has short stories. Some of the characters continue between the stories, but you don't have to have read anything prior or subsequently.
So how can people find you? What's obviously you've mentioned the online. So.
Okay, well if you go to kryptonkomics.com, not Krypton Komics Omaha, there's one in America. There's 250,000 comics. They're available for order online. It's a lot easier to look at what I've got online than it is in here because as you know, as your video will hopefully show, there's loads of boxes all over the place. It's click, order, and then you get one of these things.
Gemini mailers.
Drop through the letterbox.
Brilliant.
Depending where you are in the world. So, and I'll send anywhere. So.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you very much for this. This has been an absolute joy going and digging through the store and seeing it. And as I say, if you're ever in London and find yourself with a few hours to go digging, head over to Walthamstow and Krypton Comics.
Okay, yeah. Phone ahead.
Phone ahead.
To check I'm here, because
absolutely.
This is what's called a lifestyle business now.
Thank you, sir. It's been an absolute joy.
Cheers.
As you can see, Krypton Comics remains a strictly old-school independent shop, known for its massive inventory of over 250,000 comics and warehouse-like feel. There are a couple of other comic stores in London dealing in back issues, like Gosh and Notting Hill Comic Exchange, but neither come close to the feel of Krypton Comics. Alright, so first up, I picked up this UK price variant of Uncanny X-Men 127 featuring the first appearance of Proteus, the deadliest mutant. Beautiful book by John Byrne, artist, and Chris Claremont, writing duties, both of them co-plotting, with Terry Austin inking. One of those fabulous legendary runs of the X-Men and an amazing creative team. And as you can see, in absolutely beautiful condition. Super happy to have picked this one up to add to the collection. It will be going to CGC alongside a host of other Uncanny X-Men books for signature by Chris Claremont and grading, so looking forward to getting this one back. Next up we have Uncanny X-Men issue 128, again another UK price variant. Just look at that Perez and Terry Austin cover, and beautiful again interiors. Chris Claremont author and John Byrne on pencils and co-plotters with Terry Austin again on inks. Just stunning stuff and beautiful condition again, as you can see. Very, very happy with that. Just look at that George Perez cover. And then we have another UK price variant. This is Uncanny X-Men issue 135 with this fabulous John Byrne and Terry Austin cover with Phoenix crushing the X-Men logo. Again, beautiful condition. Always loved this splash page with the dark Phoenix exploding out from the Blackbird. Wonderful image. And again, great condition. We'll be going for grading, and a signature from Chris Claremont. Another copy, another UK pence price variant. This is X-Men 136. Beautiful cover yet again by John Byrne and Terry Austin. Just stunning again. That splash page from John Byrne. Beautiful stuff featuring the Phoenix in all her glory and power. Beautiful condition book again. Absolutely stunning. Really happy to have picked that one up from Krypton Komics. Not a UK price variant, but one of the rarer direct editions. This is X-Men 139 with the famous Kitty Pryde joining the X-Men. Hope you survive the experience cover. Beautiful stuff. And again, John Byrne's splash page is suitably impressive. Just look at that image of Angel in the Danger Room. Beautiful condition once again. Can't wait to see what these grade out as. One more UK price variant in the mix of the classic Byrne and Claremont run. This is Uncanny X-Men issue 140 UK price variant with the Wendigo cover. And Colossus ripping up the earth with those chains. Beautiful stuff. Again, Chris Claremont writer, plot and pencils, John Byrne, Terry Austin on inks. And superb condition, as you can see. Very happy to have picked that up and find it in Krypton Komics. And then the last of the X-Men books, and also the last of the Byrne and Claremont collaboration. This is X-Men 143 with this Christmas cover and Kitty Pryde being attacked by the Nagai. This is a beautiful illustration by Terry Austin, just on his own in this instance. But on the interiors, you get a beautiful image of Storm by John Byrne himself. Beautiful stuff. Just stunning with Terry Austin inks. And again, fabulous condition. Missing from my collection, so we'll be adding that to those going for signature by Chris Claremont and grading. Next up, I picked up a few of the books that Gary Ochiltree himself creates. This is Tales of the Wonderkind issue 4, which Gary very kindly signed for me on the first page. So fantastic to grab that. Wonderful book. This one's interesting because the cover is by Gene Colan and based on a sketch that Gene Colan shared with Gary himself and was reused on this cover. So it's a collaboration of sorts, but a fabulous image by Gene Colan there. And a great book. I also picked up his Tales of the Wonderkind issue 5. This is his Graphite edition. Again, he signed the book on the first page. Beautiful stuff. And this one has a very interesting story in it, where it has a number of letters that he wrote to Steve Ditko and got responses. A very interesting story. I'd urge you to try and pick up a copy of this and read through these, because fabulous stuff. The way that Gary wrote to Steve, trying to commission him to do some work. Unfortunately, Steve was unable to help him out, but he does have these amazing letters that he's shared in this book. So check that one out. I also picked up those Creepy Worlds issue 250. Obviously, this is a new reprint with some original stories by Gary himself in here, but features a lot of reprints. And as you can see, there's one of Gary's stories in there, and he did sign one for me. Let me just find it for you. There it is, signed by Gary himself. Really happy to pick that up from Alan Class, the last Alan Class issue, recently published issue 250 of Creepy Worlds. And then I thought I'd also pick up a copy of Secrets of the Unknown as well to finish off the Alan Class run. So this is issue 250 of Secrets of the Unknown. This one's again signed by Gary on the interiors. We'll just find the pages there to share with you. A lot of great reprints, and there's signed by Gary. But this one is also signed by Alan Class himself on the back cover, so I had to pick that one up. Great little book, and a nice way to finish off Secrets of the Unknown and Creepy Worlds with issue 250. But the bargain of the day at the store was this lot of Avengers Marvel UK books. These were £1 each, so snapped these up as soon as I could. So I got issue 40, issue 43, issue 95, issue 98, issue 100, and again these are in absolutely great shape. Issue 101, and again you'll notice these have, some of them have unique covers. This is issue 103, issue 104 versus the Squadron Sinister, issue 105, issue 106, issue 108, issue 109, issue 110, issue 111, issue 112, issue 113, issue 114, issue 115, issue 116, issue 117, issue 118, issue 119, issue 120, issue 122, issue 123, issue 125, issue 126, issue 128, issue 129, and to finish off the collection, issue 135. And as I say, £1 for each of those. Absolutely couldn't turn that down. And a great snapshot of Marvel UK Avengers issues spanning from 1974 through to 1976. Absolutely brilliant. I'd love to know what you thought of Krypton Komics and some of the books I was able to pick up whilst there. Let me know in the comments down below. And with that, thanks as always for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all next issue. Don't forget to check out other great videos, as well as follow us on Instagram, Facebook and X. We also host a weekly live stream, the Merry Monday Mail Call Show, every Monday morning at 7:30 AM Australian Eastern Time. Nuff said.